but he's able to come back in 2024 after doing it in 2022. The undisputed greatest player to ever touch a phone or tablet in Clash Royale, back in the golden chair. It's Mohamed Light, top of your screen, going up against Rooney at the bottom, and we're starting with an Evo Witch and a Zap. Juicy, what are we looking at here?
Evo Wizard and a Zap. I mean,
Wizard,
I don't know.
sorry.
Yeah, it seems to be probably a giant deck. I don't know what else it could be, really. And Rooney, on the other hand, with the probably just going to be a roll hogs deck of some sort, or some sort of spam deck. Interesting.
Recruits. Demolisher. So it looks like going a little out of the box here is Rooney in game number 1.
Monk, Tombstone, Zap, Wizard, and Zappies.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is Graveyard, but I usually don't see Zap paired with Graveyard. You usually rather have a Snowball or Arrows, something like that.
So Evo Wizard here in cycle. Evo Wizard also great in where it's at. Doesn't feel overpowered.
Yeah,
doesn't feel
agreed.
Useless. And
Goblin
the curse. I do love that the Goblin Curse has become a thing in Clash Royale. It took a minute. It took a couple of iterations of the card itself and decks for it to be in, and which archetype do we play it in, but it turned out to be a pretty fascinating card at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really solid. I think that a lot of people have realized that's not just good for swarms, but when paired with certain units, especially the Goblin Machine, it does a great job of just weakening those cards and getting that damage amplification.
Yeah, the damage amp is actually a huge thing. Even when you have to play it desperately on defense, you can really see it come through sometimes. So really love the versatility of the card, and I think that's one of its strengths and weaknesses, which is what makes it great.
Yeah, going back to Mo's deck, I think this has got to be a roll giant deck, by the way, just with with a fisherman in here. So interesting stuff. So roll giant wizard with curse zap going against Rooney with the roll hogs, roll recruits. I think the wizard is going to be the trump card for Mo in this situation. That splash damage. Look at it. I mean, he's taking out literally everything on the left-hand lane, and it's even getting damage to the right-hand side.
Yeah, and Mo's figured out his trump card, if you will, and now Rooney needs to figure out that flying machine can cause a lot of pain for Mohamed Light, not really having a way to directly get on top of it, not even having a lot of air defense. The biggest thing, though, is obviously he's got that monk, so he's going to always try to use that monk in the same lane as the flying machine, activate that ability as soon as the flying machine's on top, and now he takes care of the card that is causing him issues or would cause him issues, whereas, as you just pointed out, Juicy, not really a good way for Rooney to get on top of the wizard.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the arrows are just not enough. Maybe you could get a flying machine to lock onto it, but that's what Mo's got the monk for. Monk is doing a great job deflecting flying machine and keeping his wizard alive and protected as he cycles to another one, yet again, Evo'd.
And this is just that moment where if you're, and you knew it was going to come down, I was going to say this is that moment that you know that the offense is coming, and you know if you're Rooney, like, Mo's about to hit me. We're getting into just 80 seconds remaining in the game. You know he's going to go on offense. He's been playing nothing but defense, and he ends up not taking the damage lead, but getting a couple shots in. 2151, excuse me, on that left-hand side. 2151 is still the lowest tower. 2202 is Mo's lowest tower.
Yeah, and this is how Mo plays this game. He's just really solid. He's locked in. He's trying to win the bridge battles. He's trying to just min-max everything a little bit. But he's got a big defense ahead of him. Pigs on the right, Gob Demolition on the left, uses the Gob Curse to allow the wizard to get lots of value as he cycles to another wizard, trying to deal with the right side. The Fire Spirit hits, though. There's a lot of damage coming through. He needs to make a roll giant push right now.
Yeah, and this is going to be a big push here. We got the monk up front, the wizard behind. We're going to go recruits right at the bridge, and it looks like he does get the RG down. Monk ability just in time. There's the curse. There's the cage. Mo's still defending on that left-hand side. 1606, 1678. Wow. RG shot is in. Nothing there to get on top of the RG. Zappy goes down. Mohamed Light screams into the lead, and you can see Rooney knows he was just got.
And another wizard in cycle yet again. Evo this time. Arrow's going to be blocked by the shield. Flying Machine is trying to take it out. Gob Demolisher is trying to make it to the tower. But the Gob Curse makes sure that the wizard is able to one-shot absolutely everything on the right-hand side. And Mohamed Light taking game number 1 versus David Rooney.
As my
He's
good
already
friend
got
and
that,
co-cast.
first round bye.
Yeah, Lucas, big fan of Lucas. I love that that you talk about his emotion. One of his strengths, one of his weaknesses, and that's why we love him. Obviously, our number 3 in the world last year at World Finals, so very excited to see his match as we get into that second round. But right now, we're going back to hopefully Mortar, as we're seeing Evo Bats and Skeleton King here paired with Goblin Gang. You know that I'm very happy that Mortar is firmly in the meta right now, Juicy. Probably not the best archetype, but definitely one of the more viable ones.
Yeah, it just seems like this Mortar deck, no matter what, is always usable. And I think that's just something that, if you're looking for a deck, that's always one of the traits that you always have to look for.
So, I mean, parts of this you would say looks like Expo, I guess. Parts of this looks like Graveyard. And parts of this looks like, I guess it's going to be Drill. There we go, from Mo Light. As you see the Snowball with the Archers, Goblins. I guess it makes more sense.
Interesting. Yeah, so Archers in a Drill deck. Haven't seen that before. But,
yeah.
Yeah, the Evo Archers are pretty strong here. I kind of like the pick. And I think it's simply because he used arrows in the last game. Archers Evo really strong with the arrows out. He wasn't able to play this match since Rooney played it in his first game of this duel.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting thing to think about as we kind of move through and, you know, how strong Evos are and the cards out. A lot of times when we think about spells being out or cards being out, Juice, in the past we usually talk about like win condition, but when you talk about the strength of split archers or archers without an ability to get on top of them, that's a really great point that you make, because they are a nuisance.
Yeah, I love that you called out the splits. Obviously, if he plays them same lane, Rooney most likely has Fireball for his last card. He will be able to just Fireball them out. Looks like he will use on defense this time, but at some point, we're probably going to see the split archers, and that's just going to be like really hard for Rooney to do anything. Because when you have one archer on both lanes, they're just both covering, and one of them is going to lock in the tower with the poison. It's going to be a solid damage lead for Mo without even having to use his Drill Evo Snowball yet.
Fortunate Evo Bats there. Not only do they get played a little bit into the poison, but a little bit high, so they sneak in front of the Skeleton King as well. So not the best use of one of the stronger Evos in the game. I still think Evo Bats are very strong, just because the cycle is cheap. They can get very powerful, obviously, as they get a couple attacks in, but very easy to clean up if dealt with early. As the Evo Snowball comes out here for Mo. Nice connection there. Both Goblins on tower, all the way down to 1436.
Interesting. Will we see the Mortar Lock? No. Mo with the Mighty Miner down on the board. Yeah, a very important thing for Rooney in this situation is when the Evo snowballs in cycle, he needs to save the log specifically for that drill, or else Mo is going to continue to get this massive amount of damage every time.
Yeah, that Evo Snowball already proving to be quite a problem for two of our competitors today, and, you know, as everyone knows that plays this game, it's like you got to keep track of those Evos. Evo Firecracker is one of them. Evo Snowball is one of them. Other Evos are a little bit less punishing, like Evo Archers, for instance. Like, yes, they're coming, but they're not quite as quick damage as the other ones that I just mentioned.
Evo Bats forcing out the Mighty Miner ability. Archers are distracting Mortar for now, but it doesn't get the shot in time. And we're heading into triple elixir, Andrew. I think Mo's just in a really solid damage lead here. It's going to be tough for Rooney to come back. Wow.
And he does the deep drill. Skeleton King away, gets the poison in. And like I said before, man, it's Mo's world. We're just playing in it. I know it's like hyperbolic to say, and it's fun to say, but like when you see him pulling off stuff like that, when he's already got such a dominant lead, you know, Rooney's just sitting there going, okay, yeah, this is why he's the best in the world.
And in card logs, with the log, he's able to clean up pretty well. But look, once again, these Evo Archers are shredding absolutely everything in their path as Mo continues to cycle spells in his right-hand tower to finish out the game. Rooney gives up. Evo Archers with the lock, and that's going to be a 2-0 sweep for Mohamed Light.
4 archers on the board on the right-hand side. Complete
Mo came
dominance
out with
from our
that
RG Evo Wizard deck with Curse and Tombstone and Zappies. So just a little bit different than what we've been seeing on ladder. And then same thing in game number 2 was that drill deck with the Evo Archers. So here we go. Wall breakers for the first time today, but coming out from both players is already looking like a mirror matchup.
Yeah, so minor wall breakers, almost a straight mirror matchup. Evo bats from both players. I mean, this is going to be fun to watch, Andrew. I mean, we have a just straight up mirror matchup. With these mirror matchups, a lot of the time, it's just going to come down to the itty bitty micro interactions. Who's getting their miner on the tower more often? Who's getting their Evo wall breakers, their Evo bats and cycle more often? Who is able to really stay on top of every single little play, prevent all damage in all situations?
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, this is... A lot of people know me as the guy that loves playing Mortar, but my second favorite win condition out in the game is just like minor wall breakers, like spam. It's just so fun. I love it, whether it's with like a poison or, you know, whether it's with NATO and Magic Archer. Like, I just really love wall breakers. So this is a really exciting one to see, and you can see Vitor kind of rocking... It's weird. They actually have like kind of like a meld of the most popular version right now, because I think the most popular version has a lot of the same cards you see in Vitor's deck, but it has Mighty Miner instead of Knight.
I think he's in trouble. I think he's in trouble. Evo bats on the tower. Miner tanking. Vitor gets some Evo bats on the board as well, but it's not quite enough to prevent this damage. Yeah, as soon as I saw those Evo bats at the bridge from Mo, and Vitor had already used his Evo wall breakers. Sometimes you need Evo wall breakers in this matchup to actually defend against the bats.
And that is such a great call there from you, Juice. Yeah, and that again, that's why I love the Evo bats, is they can really turn a game on a dime instantly. I mean, it's just so brutal when you have no responses. You just saw there, 11:55 now, the lowest tower on the board in this mirror matchup, essentially. And I think that's... Mohamed Light has to make a bigger mistake than he's made in probably 3 years playing competitive Clash Royale to lose this game.
Yeah, you're right. The other thing to note is just this Mighty Miner. I think he's going to be able to use the Mighty Miner with the 3-card cycle. Not only is it great for 3-card cycle to deal with everything, but the Mighty Miner ability is a great way to deal with the opposing Evo bats. So yeah, I think that makes it even more difficult for Vitor to come back in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at the responses there, you're 100% correct for Vitor. I mean, Evo bats, really, there's not a great way to get on top of them. The Evo wall breakers would have been the best way to do it, and you know Mohamed Light recognized that and punished him immediately as Vitor gets a little bit more chip damage in here, 21-16 to 11-55. And this is going to be most likely a pretty frustrating 2 minutes here for Vitor.
Poison down, trying to deal with the Evo bats. Mo Light just continuing to apply pressure to get the minor chip damage on the tower, though.
And no poison and cycle. Let me just put all my swarm units right at the bridge.
Another spear gobs on the right from Vitor. Spears from Mo once again to defend. I mean, this is, like you said, this is going to be frustrating for Vitor. He's making the dual lane pressure, but there it is. Mo with the defensive Evo wall breakers onto the bats. And you see Vitor shake his head. He knows that this game is probably over. He's not going to give up to the very final moment, though, which is part of the reason why I love watching him play.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something commendable about it, even though you know it's all said and done, and he even sends in the miner defensively to try to catch. That's going to do it, and it was so great that you called out those Evo bats and the Evo wall breakers, because we saw exactly the two versions of what happens when you do and you don't have the Evo wall breakers and cycle to deal with the Evo bats, and Mohamed Light doing what he does best, which is just,
is it
where's your weakness?
Or 2022 that Mo got
2021 was the year when everyone was like, this guy is going to be the best player ever. I think that was when a lot of us were like, okay, we'll see. And then, yeah, he just, like, 2022 was the year he just got first place on ladder 3 months, 4 months in a row or whatever it was. It was just absolutely insane. And, of course, in 2021 World Finals, he got second place. So he's just been one of those guys that's just been... He's just been the dude, and you know, as you know, Juicy, for playing for so long, it's just the consistency is just unmatched. And here we go, Hog in game number 2 from Vitor, but he couples it with the Boss Bandit and Snowball. So Snowball, Ice Spirit, those will both be nice to deal with that Inferno. Evo Inferno out here from Mo Light, who looks like he's going to the skies. Is this the first time we're going to maybe see Lava today, Juice?
Yeah, it looks like it could be Lava for sure. Another option is maybe a graveyard deck, but depending on Vitor's building, this could be a really nice match to bring Lava. If he doesn't have Tesla or maybe Inferno, Firecracker might end up being the only air defense. And there's the Skelly Drag, so definitely lava. But he does have the Tesla. So this match is anyone's game. May the best man win.
Yeah, definitely some nice factors in Vitor's deck to help deal with the skies, the Snowball, Tesla, and Firecracker. And obviously having that Boss Bandit in for the 3-card cycle so you can get 2 Firecrackers out when you need to. We'll see how this plays out.
Inferno Drag cycled once again, trying to get the Evo in cycle. We'll see if we have a Lava Bridge. There it is. Lava Hound at the bridge, going to apply some pressure. Hog Rider to distract the Inferno Drag. To cycle to the Firecracker. And a Snowball on offense to get 2 Hog Rider hits, but arrows on offense for Mo to try and break through with his Lava Hound.
Yeah, really nice damage done there by Vitor, and it looks like he should have a clean defense here. Lightning does come down. Okay, never mind. Spoke just a little bit too soon, but low on elixir is Mo Light, so he goes far here with the... Well, that was weird. I didn't see the circle from the Earthquake. Did you?
No,
I just saw the...
that's a weird glitch I've been seeing recently. It's just like kind of invisible, but... Good Earthquake nonetheless, even though it's seemingly not there at all. It does take out the Tombstone. Hog Rider connects to the tower. Evo Inferno Drag on the board now. And he does have the arrows plus the... the Hog makes it though with the Snowball. Okay, if Vitor defends this, he wins the game. Let's see if he's able to make it happen.
Oh, what a tough defense this is going to be. There's the guards. Evo Valk is in. Evo Inferno making work happen. He's got to get something else on the board. Oh, the Snowball just in time. Perfectly played.
Oh my gosh. You're just trying to think of what your opponent has for decks available and then make a deck that is decent versus all of them instead of trying to snipe a specific one.
Yeah, and that's a really good point that you make. It's not about getting an 80-20. It's about getting as many 50-50s as you can.
Right. Interesting here. So we have Archer's Evo plus Ram Rider from Vitor and Mo with the Ice Wiz, Ice Spirit, Barbarian Barrel, Goblins, and a Goblet. Most likely going to be some sort of Graveyard Cycle from Mo and Vitor with a Ram Rider Bridge Spam Fireball. Already looking a little bit advantageous for Mo. Even with the drill instead of Graveyard, should be pretty solid.
Yeah, it looks like he's had a lot of ways to kind of slow and stun and the double building. A lot of good options here.
I really like the Ice Spirit there. He's just playing the Ice Spirit while the Golden Knight's on the board. So he's able to cycle back the Ice Spirit for the Evo a little bit quicker. He doesn't need to play one card though. No, he doesn't play it. So the Golden Knight will actually come back and cycle over the Ice Spirit. Not truly activating the 3-card cycle unless you play a card after the card that you already played while the champ's on the board. I don't know if that made any sense, but hopefully someone back home got it.
Yeah, and hopefully if you didn't get it, you can play it back and listen to it a couple times because it might sound confusing, but it is actually really important when you talk about activating 3-card cycle and the way that it works. It doesn't just automatically happen the second you play a champion on the board.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of does, but you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. So, yeah, I mean, there it is, though. The Evil Ice Spirit does get in cycle after playing the Golden Knight, and it's so good for defending against the Ram Rider. I thought that Vitor might have been able to connect with that push since Mo didn't have enough for the Goblet right away, but the Evil Ice Spirit, once again, just really shutting that down.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how Vitor makes the Monk matter in this matchup. I mean, the biggest thing... Wow, look at that prediction on top of the Archers. Still stays alive, but really nicely played there by Mo, and this would be a huge Gold Knight ability.
Oh my goodness, you're so right. I thought... I mean, just great plays all around. The prediction, Bar Barrel, followed by the quick reaction by Vitor to protect, and then the Gold Knight dash. Oh my gosh, but the Gold Knight makes it. Barbarian Barrel played one tile too far onto Mohamed Light's side of the board.
Dude, and Mo with the prediction Bar Barrel on top of the Inferno. I mean, this is why we love watching this guy play. You know, they're just really fancy predictive plays that they're not trying to win the game. They're just trying to make your opponent play uncomfortable. And Mo Light doing that wonderfully.
Man, it's so tough for Vitor to break through. He's doing everything in his power, and on the counter push, once again, Golden Knight and a Fireball coming through, increasing the damage lead even more. And this is the Mohamed Light playstyle. Get the damage lead, hold on to it, perfect defense, win the bridge battles. It's going to be tough. Vitor does have Evo Inferno Drag for last card. Maybe, just maybe, if you can get that locked on the tower for 1 second, you can make something happen.
Here comes the Ram Rider. You know that another hut is coming down. There it is. The Monk deflection on all of them, plus the Fireball. Now the Ram Rider, wow. I mean, Evo Ice Spirit, Goblins to catch, double stun, beautifully played.
Evo Inferno one-shots the Ice Wiz. Another Ram Rider in cycle. Mo's a little bit low.
It's going to take out the building. That's huge.
The Ram Rider connects. Gold Knight down, but the Evo Archers are sniping. Oh my gosh, Andrew, I cannot believe this.
Wow.
Oh
the Inferno. I mean, that's what we were talking about. The Evo Inferno. It becomes such a problem to hit Mo with his hands over his face. He recognizes this game was just stolen from him by the newest Evo in the game.
He's going for the counter push, though. He's trying to make something happen. He's switching lanes with the Evo Drill, the Golden Knight, but a nice bar barrel up high from Vitor, preventing the Golden Knight from dashing. Fireball comes through, but he still has to defend.
The dash! The dash!
Wait, the dash!
Now we got Monk back in, tanking for that. Not enough elixir for the hut. There's the hut coming down last second. Fireball on top of the hut. Ram Rider still pretty healthy. Fireball defensively from Mo, 437. Vitor should be able to steal this best of two.
The Ice Spear drops for the Goblins. The Ram Rider is still healthy. Not another Goblin in cycle, and he doesn't have log. He has to drop
There
Goblins.
it is!
But the Ram Rider connects, and Vitor with the upset
chat
too.
on Daddy Duty here today. Looks like he's showing up. People very excited to see Rich. Rich will be here tomorrow commentating. Obviously going to be very happy to be back in the booth with him. CRL has missed Rich Slayton here in 2025. Here we go. Kita, bottom of your screen. Mohamed Light with an early Ice Spirit connection based off of that high bar barrel. And a snowball's worth of damage goes in Mo's direction. 288 to 229.98. Best to ever do it, going up against one of the best of the olden days. Evo Evolutioner is the funniest thing I've heard in CRL. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, you say like 10,000 words over the span of a couple hours, and you're bound to mess up a few of them, so... No Evo Evolutioner in this game, unfortunately, as we do go to a drill matchup once again. Evo Snowball, Evo Valk, Evo Tesla, Evo Snowball. And this really is the deck, right? This is the deck / archetype of the weekend so far. Everyone has been running Evo Drill, or excuse me, Evo Snowball with Drill. We see right there Evo Snowball coming in, Bar Barrel out, Ice Spirit out. And you wonder, as the weekend kind of progresses and evolves, will we see a lot more Spirits plus Bar Barrels and Valkyries in general, just because we've seen so many drills, Juice?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. I mean, the Valk, the Bar Barrel, I mean, there's just so many counters to drill here. Probably because of that reason. I think that Drill, Evo Snowball, I actually said this at the beginning of the season. I was like, you know what? I mean, it makes sense after this Evo Snowball. It got a couple buffs that Drill would continue to become more and more popular. And it's cool to see that Drill is just, once again, becoming super strong in the CRL meta.
Yeah, and it doesn't quite feel the same as it did when Evo Drill was everywhere. I don't know if you remember that meta where it felt like there was almost like there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Like it was too strong.
Right.
Whereas this, I think, is a great call, Juice. I think it does feel absolutely correct. And right there is what we were talking about earlier today. I was saying that Berserker feels like a little Prince defensively, and you know, that little Prince charged up. We love to see it there. Finally showing up for the first time here today. Mohamed Light has actually always been a big champion of the Little Prince. He's been using it, or he's used it even when no one else does. So good to see that here.
Yeah, I always have liked watching Mo play the Little Prince for that reason. Like, I put it at like the bottom of my not my Evos, but my champion tier list that I just made real quick impromptu on stream here. And but despite that, it's still strong as the cheapest champion. Just being able to activate 3-card cycle for only 3 elixir, it makes a lot of sense.
And also, again, just to, because, you know, I hear you say this, and this is what I was talking about today, is like its defensive capability also makes that even better, because then, you know, you're not really ever cycling it out of place when you don't have a position for it, because you're getting it into that 3-card cycle. And then the worst case scenario is that it ends up playing a little bit of defense for you. So Little Prince in for Mo, and the lead is in hand of Katashian at the moment, 2172 to 2308 as Mo sends in a drill here to the bottom left. That Valkyrie doing a very, very good job. I mean, the really nice thing, as you can see, and actually Katashian actually kind of messed it up there as I was talking about it, is that he has 3 ways to defend the drill, Juicy, which would actually make him pretty impervious to the snowball, but he keeps messing it up.
Yeah, Mo just kept applying so much pressure, forcing out mistakes, using the Little Prince 3-card cycle, and I'm sure we'll see another Goblin drill very soon. Kid actually realized that as well, played the Valkyrie preparing, but Mo going to be doing another drill now away from the Goblin, away from the Valk, with the Evo Snowball and cycle. Katashian trying to get damage too, but Mo's just got this defense way more locked down.
Man, and the log value that Mo keeps getting because of the spears and the guards and everything, even the Ice Wizard, he's just able to throw in a log and just clean everything up.
And another login cycle for the drill Evo, and that is the play you need to make. You defend the drill, wait for the Evo Snowball, then log everything away. Perfect gameplay from Mo right now. This is what we're used to seeing watching our world champ play this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I've heard you say it on broadcast. I've heard you say it on stream. It's just when Mo abuses that 3-card cycle, he does it like no one else.
I know. Just so many drills, so many logs, so many snowballs. He uses the 3-card cycle, or he basically figures out. I think, I don't know. It's really interesting because you do have the players that are always top 200 or always top 1000. But then you have like the Mo's, the Rileys, and the Ians that are like, and even Morton recently. You look at the leaderboard and it seems like they're just #1 every single day.
Yeah.
And it's like, how? Like, how are you doing this? Especially on ladder where there's so much like matchup variance too. It's always really impressive to see.
Yeah, and then the other thing that people don't even talk about is like the marathon that it actually is to get to #1 on ladder. It's not just about winning games. It's about sitting there for hours and maybe staying up late to catch season end. And, you know, there's just so much more that goes into it than I think people think of. So here we go. It looks like Mohamed Light is going to a facelifted version of Valkyrie, Magic Archer plus NATO Wall Breakers. So, you know, kind of a new look of something of old, and then kind of the same thing at the bottom of your screen. We're seeing, you know, some of what bait looks like a lot these days with 2 of those cards in the Princess and the Dark Goblin that are, you know, ranged units that do a ton of damage. Then you have 2 cards that are super baity that will demand responses like the Barrel and the Suspicious Bush. And then, of course, you have the champion in there in the Mighty Miner for the 3-card cycles. So this is really kind of what bait looks like a lot of the time in 2025. And it's nice that it's a little different. I still don't like playing against it.
No one does, Andrew. No one does. The Dargob and Princess with the Evo Dargob too. I think Evo Dargob, in my opinion, might be the strongest Evo in the game currently. Wow. It's just so good. It gets 1 hit, and that poison will stay on whatever it hits until that unit is gone.
Yeah, and then that like, you know, mistakes beget mistakes. That Dark Goblin's a great example of that, because it's like all of a sudden you try to drop something and the cloud's still there, and then you've wasted, you know, swarm units, and you've just thrown elixir away, and yeah, it's very punishing. So Suspicious Bush going in the left lane, also a card that is sneaky strong, right? If you ignore a Suspicious Bush, you got to be willing to take a few hundred damage, and I actually think that's a great design for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's a strong card, fairly balanced, but it really does well in decks like this, especially when you get to like double elixir, where it just seems like there's always one on the board, always like pulling your attention and your elixir away from where you want to use it.
Yeah, and the fact that there's always one on the board, I think, is just a testament to that being how you need to play if this is, you know, a deck that you're interested in. You know, I think sometimes people later in double and triple elixir, they start to get more sheepish about using their Suspicious Bush because it's so easy to respond to, but it's about baiting out responses. Like right there, you saw the delivery comes down to clean everything up, but it's really about the Fire Spirit getting damage for Kita there. So 2149 to 2236. Nice play there by the Japanese player.
I also love Kid just keeping princesses on the board. We talked about the Dargob and Suspicious Bush always being on the board, but this princess is just chilling in the middle of the map. sniping away at everything, chipping down, but also the fact that it's the only card in Clash Royale that will stay on your side of the map without slowly dying, like a building might, for example. It just is always annoying to deal with, forcing Mo to find different ways to try and take it off the board here and there.
Yeah, and you can see Kita there, because Mo has sent the Miner to the Princess a handful of times, then overprotects the Princess, and then Miner gets on top of tower. So Mo Light doing a good job playing mind games, but is still down by 500 damage with no spell. Yes, there's the NATO, but no one's looking to steal a game with NATO damage.
So true. Gob getting up high, trying to take out the Marcher. Marcher does hit the tower once.
Ooh.
The wall breaker
What a NATO!
As well. Wade Mo might be back in this game all of a sudden. Never count him out. Delivery is in cycle for defense. Only 34 seconds left on the clock, Andrew. It's anyone's match.
Such a brilliant NATO there by Mo. There you go. It's just Bush on the right-hand side. Fire Spirit connects again. Barrel to the left. 1366 to 1270. Mohamed Light just barely in the lead by under 100 HP here. Another Princess on the board. 2 Princesses on the left side for Kita as wall breakers go down the right-hand side for Mohamed Light.
Goblin Barrel does get cleaned up just barely in time by the delivery once again. Mo is in the damage lead by about 100 HP. Will the Goblin Barrel be able to make something happen? Spear Gobs and a Tornado prevents.
Wow.
And Mohamed Light wins the match by just 94 HP.
A beautiful 2-0 there from Mo Light. And man, for some reason I felt like we were back in game 1 just because this was such a great chess match.
In Clash Royale, right? You don't see him talking a lot of trash online. I wonder if he felt a sense of obligation to play in the golden chair in previous years, and now he's like, no, you know what? I'm the 2-time world champion. I will play where I want to play.
Yeah, if anyone's earned it, it's definitely Mo. And already seeing Mo come out with Royal Ghost Magic Archer, so I'm wondering if this is going to be kind of like what we saw Ta run in game number 1. Yesterday Drill was so strong. Maybe now that Drill deck has kind of evolved to include the Golden Knight NATO combo that we used to see and love with Drill.
Sure, and we saw some Drill out of Igor as well yesterday. And sets up in the back with the Witch, and I'm excited to see some Evo Witch CRL gameplay, or get to cast some CRL gameplay with the Evo Witch.
Yeah, I mean, she's still great. One of the reasons why I think Golden Knight has really popped into the meta, that dash really helps clean up the Evo Witch, cleans up all the skellies, then obviously gets him right on top of her to take her out before she's able to get too much more HP. And I'm wondering if Igor is just running. There was a version out there with, it did have Boss Bandit, but he was seeing Knight here, Spears, Hut, Evo Witch, and he might just be going straight control.
Mega Knight plus Royal Ghost set up on the left-hand side. And now we see the Evo Witch and NATO to pull all of that together. But a good Evo Ice Spirit. Yeah, wow. Nice play to preserve the Evo Witch, and we'll see if the healing can keep her alive a little bit longer. Snowball to clean that up.
Yeah, alive long enough to bait out a snowball from Mo, and I guess we don't know if it was 100% necessary, but Mo felt it was, and now we're seeing Mo show his whole hand, going right back to basically what Ta was running, and this is the thing we love about CRL and the meta evolving over the weekend, is maybe this is the new drill deck for today.
When you think about how, at the end of that exchange, Igor came out ahead to Elixir. Igor, a.k.a. Kazardi, those of you who are saying who's Igor. Igor came out 2 Elixir ahead, and what did he do? He used that to chip on the right-hand side and put this thing pretty much back to even. So just slight little interactions at this level when you have 2 world champions. So fun to watch. Here we go, final 30 seconds, and the Spears continuing to be a problem for Mo on the right-hand side.
Just going to say we got to see what spell comes out here for Igor, and it ends up being the poison on top of all that, crossing the bridge. There's the Evo Snowball on top of the Knight, and then we see a big push over on the other side of the river here for Mo. They got the MK and the Golden Knight there. Igor running out of enough tankage on the ground does get the second Knight in. Wow.
And NATO pull all that together, gets the lineup, and a couple of bits of chip damage, 17-19 left-hand side, as we go into sudden death. And you saw the...
Yeah, you can kind of just...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, we saw kind of this double move, right, where the Evo Snowball took the Knight behind the tower, and then the Evo MK knocked the Knight behind the tower, and none of it really got what he wanted, but that's what he wants. Mohamed Light with a huge leap, the Ice Spirit late in front of the King Tower for the activation, and that just blew this thing wide open.
I mean, that was just a beautiful predictive snowball there from Mo. He sees the spears come out first. He knows the second option has got to be either, you know, an Ice Spirit or maybe a Knight. Whatever it's going to be, it's something he can push far enough away from the MK and gets the MK on top of that left-hand tower. And now we finally see, you know, Igor doing a decent amount of damage on the right-hand side with his Graveyard deck. But damage done already on the left-hand side. But really, you know, only 600 HP. GY can do that in a heartbeat, especially with an Evo Witch on the board.
Bar Barrel trying to get on top of that Magic Archer, Graveyard in, final minute, triple Elixir flowing. Opportunities now for Igor to try to get some back. Does get some chip on that right-hand side, not insignificant. 13-21, and he's forcing the Elixir conversation into the right-hand lane.
Yeah, Magic Archer, though, just like showing the absolute prowess of being able to take out those witches. Just absolutely a pain. The distance on it, the range on the Magic Archer, and then the ability to pierce through, take care of the skeletons. It's just so fascinating to see the Golden Knight and Magic Archer be used as much as they are because of the Witch. And again, a perfect lineup there from Mo. He's one of the best to ever do the Magic Archer NATO lineups.
And you know what, Andrew, I think you got it right the first time. I know you corrected it, but I think the Magic Oucher is actually the right thing to call it in that situation because, ouch, for what happened to Igor in that moment. Graveyard in, 8 seconds left. Does he have a poison here to juice this thing? Trying to get a little bit on top. Can't do it. Can he do it? And Mohamed Light able to hold up, and exactly what we wanted from game number 1 of these two. Fireworks right until the very end.
I honestly am shocked Mo was able to get out of that at the end. There was the double Evo Witch on the board. The Graveyard was made in Clash Royale heaven, and looks like Igor here is ready to go. Mohamed Light still, he's got his tablet out, he's got his phone out. It looks like he's on call, so here we go. Hopping into game number 2 here.
And everybody watching at home, the players do have a significant amount of time to choose their decks between games, and as you can imagine, with this being an elimination matchup, these two players certainly taking as much time to make the right call as they can every single time. And here we go with the Mega Minion in response to the Miner.
Yeah,
you
never
talk
gets
about,
old, huh?
Go ahead.
I was just saying, never gets old, huh? People in chat telling us to start the game.
Well, you know, you talk about
8 years later.
8 years later. You talk about the evolution of the game and certain things having staying power. The Mega Minion's one of those ones that, I mean, there was a time when Mega Minion was in every single deck. And now not the same story for the Mega Minion as maybe once was.
Yeah, it just seems like there's so many other cards that can kind of do what the Mega Minion does and provide a little bit more utility. I mean, I think one of the biggest things to kill the Mega Minion was just the Phoenix. I think that's what so many people said, was the Phoenix coming into the game just made the Mega Minion a bit obsolete. I don't know if that's exactly the same sentiment that people still have, because obviously the Mega Minion is cheaper. But yeah, it's just one of those cards that very rarely shows up anymore. And it's a great card. Makes me a little sad.
And Inferno Dragon, a pretty easy response for the Giant. And interesting selection here out of Igor. It's kind of a classic beatdown deck with the Giant and Prince and the Boss Bandit. Not as classic with the Boss Bandit in there, but you get the idea.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting deck from Igor. I mean, I don't know if this is the type of deck that I want to run against Mohamed Light, because essentially what you're hoping on is breaking through with the Giant, getting a good heal spirit in there, and then of course getting that Evo Bomber lineup. As Mo Light brings out, you know, Mortar against the Mortar God, but a weird version of Mortar. I mean, obviously we'll see as this game kind of unfolds, but I'm just not loving this deck so far.
Well, I think that one of the feelings that you're having is that it's really hard to get directly on tower. There is almost the only ways you get directly on tower here are the arrows and the zap. You don't have a lot of ways, so you're counting on breaking through and just having a big push roll downhill, which is hard in general in this game, especially though also against what you see here.
Yeah, and then the Evo Inferno and only having a Mega Minion to deal with it, and, you know, as you can see here, he's kiting it away, but that Inferno is jacked. It's amped. We got an Evo Mortar on the board, a Prince behind. Evo Mortar is, I think, locked on top of the tower, and, yeah, I don't know, man. This deck, not great. Gets the zap to reset, misses it. Prince gets caught by the guards, and that's all she wrote, man.
This game feels, I mean, completely 180 turn from what was happening last game. Last game, we had this pitched back and forth battle, a tight fight between these two. And then, you know, you talked about the maturity with Igor, you talked about the decision making. I think you were kind of going back to the 2020 Solo World Championship where he ended up playing the exact same deck 4 games in a row. And same thing here. I question the decision making here on this deck picking.
Definitely. I mean, this is
exactly for him to do so. It's, do you also then show up when you're on the big stage, when you're under the bright lights, when you're there with everyone cheering, everyone excitable? And the last time these two met on the biggest stage was, of course, at World Finals last year on the upper bracket semis, where Mo took the 2-0 victory, running some minor control. And then we had a lava for lava matchup that went Mohamed's way. We'll see what the game plan is here for these two who've played too much.
Starting this one already, Mo kind of tilting his head, not looking too happy about the matchup. And looking like he's going to go to the skies here. Lucas, though, is going to have so much of a presence on the ground. Looking like lava versus bait here, and it's the bait with Suspicious Bush and the Dark Goblin and the Princess and the Goblin Gang. So you talk about ways, and the Fire Spirit to get on top of the pup. So this is already looking very, very good for Lucas. You can see that the arrows come out from Mo Light. It might be a double spell lava deck. Even if that's the case, the Princesses and the Dark Goblins on the board, along with the gang, along with the 3-card cycle, it's a tough spot for Mo. And you can see he was visibly bothered as soon as he saw the Suspicious Bush, hard name for me to say, come into play.
It is, honestly, I think that was created and named primarily just to mess up casters, because there's too many weird sounds in that one word. Suspicious Bush. You have to think about it when you say it.
And right now we're seeing Mo do what you have to do as a lava player, which is just sacrifice a ton of damage on the right-hand side, although I don't really love Lucas sacrificing that much on the left. But here we go. Let's see how he wants to defend.
And Mo holding on. I think he still has the arrows. Going to hold on and not worry about it here because he has this problem that's a little bit more prescient. Instead decides to eat damage and then cover on the right-hand side with the guards. And yes, the bush. I'm never going to say, this is the last time you hear me say suspicious on a broadcast. Just the bush.
Dark Goblin already just showing what a pain it's going to be throughout this entire matchup. Just cleaning up both Skeleton Dragons, cleaning up that Goblin Brawler, getting on top of defense over here on the left-hand side with the guards. Like, it's been on the board for over 30 seconds at this point. Mohamed Light has created such little offense. He just uses arrows, so now if I'm Lucas, I get back on offense right away. Maybe a gang left-hand side in front of this Princess. There it is.
There you go. Evo Dark Goblin in the middle. And Lightning has to do some cleanup, and just on those two. But look at this damage. That's going to be right-hand tower down, and short work made by Lucas. Solid matchup and great execution by Lucas X Gamer.
So if Mohamed Light loses here, he will be eliminated for the first month, and our first golden ticket will not go to Mohamed Light for maybe the first time in 2 years, I think. I think that's correct, but I could be misspeaking.
I mean, I'll go ahead and do some quick research as we get into this one, and I will confirm it one way or the other for you, Andrew.
Looking like we're seeing GY here from Mo. And just a Tesla miner and some archers out. Yeah.
All right, hold on. I've almost got this. I'll find it. All right, let's see. In 2024, the first... Oh, where the heck are you? Oh, I thought I had it. I'll find it one day, Andrew. Oh, prepare for the next broadcast.
And just kind of a slow start here, looking, like I said, like GY for Mo, and now the GY finally comes out. Rocket right at the bridge, ready to go. Lucas was ready for him to pull the trigger. It is interesting how much more we're seeing Graveyard come out in single Elixir than we had in the past. Yeah, it's just something that we're seeing a little bit more of these days, especially when you obviously are going up against Cannoneer, which we're not seeing here, but Mohamed Light still felt that it was a good time to pull the trigger. Obviously not ideal to have Skeletons, Archers, and Tesla. I mean, you know, defensive building is always going to be a bit annoying, but Skeletons plus Archers are going to really help clean up those graveyards. And also, as we were kind of talking about yesterday on stream, something that we really applauded Mo Light for, and I talked about at the beginning of our day-to-day, Rich, is just if arrows are out, doesn't always need to be a big thought process. Maybe, you know, you don't need to play Minion Horde because arrows are out, but Archers, Evo Archers, all of a sudden are so much more of a nuisance when you can't get arrows on top of them. So you see the poison come out here from Mohamed Light, instantly on top of those Archers.
And a little bit of work getting done on that right-hand side, 24-63. This miner plus the reflection going to chip down that lead a little bit and changes hands for Lucas. And I've confirmed for sure it was the first two monthly finals. 2024 and 2023, Mohamed Light won the first monthly final. The only season...
and Adriel. It looks like he's who he beat in the finals, respectively, in 2023 and 2024.
It looks like it was. I think that if things are in order, then the first golden ticket of 2022 was won by Samuel Basoto. So there you have it.
Not able to go, 3 years in a row is Mohamed Light. The one of the things he hasn't gotten, and washed. As he's down by about 260 HP here, but obviously running GY so he can get that back in a heartbeat. So he gets gives some, I should say, good rocket value to Lucas.
Graveyard in on the right-hand side one more time.
Yeah, nice block at the bridge there with the Monk. We get the second set of Archers down to help, and you can see Lucas really unhappy about that exchange. It's just way too much Elixir given away, way too much damage taken. And all that came maybe from just Mo getting that rocket out early on that Witch.
And I was just trying to confirm it, and yes, the first ever monthly final in 2021, Mohamed Light did win. So 3 of the 4 monthly finals to open up the CRL season won by Mohamed Light. And I feel like maybe he didn't play in the first one that Samuel won. I can't actually remember now. I'll have to go back and double check. Either way, he's pretty good to start off the seasons.
Yeah, he's pretty good, that guy. So we see
You should
Monk
consider
here
playing
tanking
this.
for that miner. And you got to remember, there is that rocket damage that can come in. So Mo's going to keep the pressure up, try to not have enough Elixir in Lucas's bank to get another rocket in. And these graveyards are relentless.
Yeah, just absolutely non-stop. And that's what he needs to do here. 22 seconds left. And we're just about tied here. Slight lead now for Mohamed Light, and he just does not want to give any breathing room for these rockets. Poison down.
I think Lucas can still take this.
Oh, boy.
Spears are in. Log comes down.
Spears get some spears
connects.
off. 721.
Wow.
Will the Graveyard do anything?
Wow.
It's not going to do it. And Lucas holds on for the 2-0 victory. And for only the now second time in CRL solo history, Mohamed